Have you met Shiva?
No one can meet Shiva because Shiva is formless, but I met Shankarnath, Shiva in human form. There is a mountain Sumeru, which is now under the ocean. It was part of the lost continent, which connected Australia and India. Shankarnath lives there. He also sometimes comes to Kailash. Happened to go with Babaji. As long as he was touching me, I could go wherever he's going.
Underwater also.
He held my hand and went. That transformed my body. I was experiencing what they call Vajra body. Your body becomes just lightning bolts.
What was your interaction with Shiva in the physical body?
Nothing, I just got his blessing. I said.
So why is Shiva called as the Adi Guru?
He's the one who keeps coming back to teach it, In every Dwapar Yuga, he comes. Vishnu comes as Vyas in every Dwapar Yuga, and Shiva comes in various forms to teach his version of yoga for that Kalpa. A Kalpa is 4 yugas. So the version of yoga for this Kalpa is Pashupati Yoga. And Shiva came as Lakulesh and he taught it. So that is why he's called Adi Yogi. 2 things I'm going to tell you. This is earth, not heaven. This is made of Medha from Asuras. Like Madhu and Kaitab were the 2 Asuras who Vishnu killed. And their fat made up the strength of the earth. Created the earth, it's too soft. And so nothing could live there. When the Madhu and Kaitab's fat got mixed into the earth, landmass started forming. So right from diabetes to everything that I used to judge people for, I got. I used to judge Muslims, I became a Muslim.
You became a Muslim? What do you mean?
Babaji said, you go become a Muslim now.
Really?
Yeah. I had to be a Muslim for 1.5 years. Till I stopped judging Muslims. I had to become a Christian till I stopped judging Christians. I had to become a Buddhist to stop judging Buddhists. I was like, what's next, Babaji? Do I have to be a Sikh? He said, no, you don't judge Sikhs, so you're not going to be a Sikh. Moksha is when you're alive. If you're able to make your body into such a body that becomes immortal, then you'll become like my Guru, who's 2,700 years old.
Hello and namaste to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I just finished recording the conversation which you are going to watch. I was thinking how to introduce this individual because I was trying since 10-12 takes. I'll tell you his name. In today's episode, we are going to be talking to Guru Pashupati, who is the founder of Chamundi Gurukulam in Mysore. He's a yogi, he is a Aghori, and he is a Siddha of the highest order. We've heard stories of yogis doing this, doing that, things which a thinking mind cannot comprehend. He is a living embodiment of all of that and much more. There is no way to introduce him, but I would really urge you, please listen to this conversation till the very end. And without much further delay, here is Guru Pashupati on the mic with Parth. Watch it till the end.
Hello and namaste, Guruji. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
All good, all good. I came across your podcast 3 or 4 months ago, and just in the first minute, more than your words, it was your eyes that captivated me. And what do I mean by that? Even right now, if I look at you in your eyes, I'm almost a bit afraid because I can see that you can see through things more than other people can. The perception of your eyes, of your vision is very visible. Are you aware of this?
Yes, of course I'm aware of it.
How does one develop this kind of penetrating vision, I would say, towards life and towards everything?
Pratyahara. It's called Pratyahara, which is removal of all distractions. So when you're doing one thing, you do only one thing. Don't do more than that. Just one thing. So be aware of everything. Because you're so focused on your goal of whatever you're doing. So you don't have time to be aware of anything else. So if somebody's there in front of me, I give them my full attention. Because I would love to know them. I would love to know what's happening with them. Because only if I know who they are, I can then propose something with them or, have any kind of meaningful interaction. So I think it's important that when we're in the presence of another being, we are present. We should be there. We shouldn't be absent anywhere. It's just respect.
When you look at me, what do you see in my being?
I see a person who's quite heroic and who's also wanting to learn, which is what I see. So I don't see any other agenda. But if I had seen or sensed any other agenda, I would say, no, I'm not interested. I would say no to this podcast. I do refuse some people for the podcast because they don't have a good agenda behind. Agenda, there's like to put down Sanatan or something like that. I'm not interested to talk to you.
I have one question which is about questions. So just would like to give you a little bit of background as in how I stepped into spiritual side of life, for the lack of a better word. I summited Mount Everest in 2019 at the age of 24.
Wow.
And since the age of 15 till the age of 24, my life revolved around Everest.
Mm.
And I thought, when I summit Everest, when I stand on the top of the world, my life would be perfect. I would be absolutely satisfied. And, there would be no more chasing. There would be no more, bhaga dodi. Life would come to a standstill in a way within me. But when I climbed Everest and when I came back, I realized now I'm more lost than ever before, because so far I had Everest to move towards, but now it's done and nothing happened within me. Of course, it's a beautiful experience and you
Then
learn.
you missed the lesson, Parth. You missed the lesson. The lesson is to always have an Everest. That's the lesson. Have
So,
something magnificent as a goal always. Otherwise, life on earth is meaningless. Meaning comes from goals.
so what is that goal that one should aspire for, or is
Right
any?
now, for me, my Everest is to translate all the Vedas and the Puranas. It's quite a big Everest. It will take me some 20 years. After that, I'll see. There'll be some other Everest.
So, in our culture, we say that the ultimate goal of being in a human body
Hmm.
is moksha, is the
Hmm.
ultimate freedom.
Hmm.
So, is that supposed to be the only goal, or all
Yes, it
the
is.
other?
Well, moksha is an incidental goal that happens. It's not a goal really, it's an effect. Dharma is not really a goal. Dharma, arth, kama, and moksha, they're not goals. They are arthas, meanings, purushartha. So, uh, the purusha is the soul. Okay. Somebody was fighting with me. Why is there no stri artha? But Purusha means the soul. It's not about men and women. Okay. It's a Sankhya terminology where
Hmm.
Prakriti is nature and Purusha is the soul. So that's what it is. So now, soul meanings. Okay. So the deep meaning in life comes from the Purushartha, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma is actually, it follows when you have a goal. You have Lakshya, you'll have Dharma, which means that when I have a goal to climb Everest, for example, you had a goal to climb Everest, you would only do things that would help you in that goal at that
Hmm.
point. Because suddenly, because you have a goal, you have dharma. If somebody say, "Come on, man, let's party all night and let's get drunk," you'll say, "No, thanks," because it's opposing your goal,
Hmm.
right? So that discipline of working towards your goal every day, that's called dharma. And then artha. Artha is also not a goal. Artha is a byproduct or a side effect, but it's the one you can recognize that if you have artha, which is a continuous cash flow, an abundant continuous cash flow, that's called artha. If you
Hmm.
have that, and it's not owning assets, it's owning a cash flow. That means money should be flowing inside your life every day like a tap. That is called artha. If you have that, then doesn't that simplify your life? All the boring tasks that you don't want to do, you can hire someone to do it, and then you'll get more time. That's the only way to get more time. Artha is the only way to get more time for your sadhana, which is kama. Kama is your sadhana, and kama means sexual practice. So it is, we say that the male and the female have the energy of Shiva and Parvati in them. And only when they combine to become Ardhanari that you can enjoy kama. To enjoy kama, it needs someone else. It needs someone whom you really love. So that is kama. And once you have kama, those practices, they take your virya, and those are all kundalini practices. It makes you immortal. That is moksha. Moksha is freedom from being born and dying. How can you get freedom from being born and dying by being born or dying? You have to be alive if you want freedom from being born and dying. You can't be dead. To have freedom from dying, you'll be dead. Doesn't make sense, right? So moksha is when you're alive. If you're able to make your body into such a body that becomes immortal, then you'll become like my guru, who's 2,700 years old. And those are the beings that I met in the mountains of Nepal. I don't know if you know the Ganesh Himal range.
Yes.
There are these four mountains that when you summit some other mountains near them, you can see they have the. Have you seen it?
No, I've not been in that
I've seen.
region.
Okay. But you will see the snow pattern is just like Lord Ganesh. And it's quite amazing. And that's where
Wow.
my Guru lives. He lives in those mountains. And what is there except snow? But not where he lives. And at his cave, there's a completely different weather. That's his Siddha power. But that's not where he lives. That's where he's buried underground. He's undertaken to make his physical body a part of the earth so that he can project himself again as matter. This is the kind of stuff that yogis used to do. It's a good goal, to learn all this. By the time you make goals like this to learn all this, you'll have dharma forever. If you want to have, if you want to have immortality, you should have Sanatan Dharma, eternal dharma. So, Sanatan Dharma is a way for a human being to have eternal dharma all the time. That means to always have a goal that is so big and doesn't end there. It's an infinite universe. My guru is now, he's told me that he's the samrat of 18 planets, some even outside our solar system. That means he gets to care for the people of that planet and including Earth, which is what he's doing now. But there's no fun without drama. Okay. So we need the drama, we need the evil, and then we need to overcome it. And that's the drama. That's the joy. That's when you grow. So every time I will be distressed about some injustice, he would tell me, you know what? Two things I'm going to tell you. This is earth, not heaven. This is made of medha from asuras. Like Madhu and Kaitab were the two asuras who Vishnu killed, and their fat made up the strength of the earth. So Devi found that when she created the earth, it's too soft. And so nothing could live there. But when the Madhu and Kaitab's fat got mixed into the earth, landmass started forming, is what
Wow.
they say in the Puranas. So when she did that, she arranged for it that Vishnu will have to fight Madhu and Kaitab and kill them. She made Vishnu also undergo a lot of drama. Brahma also underwent a lot of drama. If these Trimurtis are undergoing so much drama, why can't you? Is what my guru asked me. I'm like, okay. Because now we're beyond that range where we are saying this is mythology, right? When you're truly studying religion, you do not consider any of these as mythology. You consider Brahma as a real being, Vishnu as a real being, and not consider you know them as a real being. So when you say those two big guys who you look up to also had to fight evil, what are you complaining about? If you want to fight evil and injustice, you become powerful because justice is the privilege of the powerful. Do not feel entitled to justice without power, is what he told me, and it made so much profound sense. So then I'm like,
Wow.
okay, I'm getting the nuts and bolts of this place that was not explained to me by Thames Nadi education.
As you are speaking, in each sentence, I'm able to think of a question to ask you. But before that, I want to ask you a question that I am personally battling with
Mm,
on this small spiritual journey that I have started since a couple of years.
mm,
When I started it, I was listening to all the videos of my guru and trying to get answers and, trying to store up knowledge. But suddenly down the line, and correct me if I'm wrong, and that's my question, that all this knowledge or
mm,
questions that you ask and
mm,
somebody answers to you, the spiritual questions, do they mean anything in the realm of mind? Like all these answers that all the gurus have given, do they really transform you in some way, or is it only by doing the sadhana and getting that experience, the answers from within you, do they
mm.
mean something?
Depends on how deeply you listen. So if you listen only to the words, it's called Vaikhari. You're listening only to the words which are being said. That doesn't make any change in your mind. If you're listening deeper than the words, if you listen to the whispers, which is if you start noticing the way the person's lips are moving, if you notice this movement, okay, then you're getting a deeper level, which is called Madhyama. Madhyama. And then if you do that, you will start to see the visuals that they are seeing when they're speaking.
Hmm.
You will start dreaming with them what they're saying. That is called Pashyanti, where you see the speech. When you see someone's speech as visuals, then you're in Pashyanti. And then Pashyanti means to see, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is considered a high level of understanding. And then you go one level deeper where you get the para meaning. Means even before you made the visuals, it's the feelings that were stirring inside. You'll start feeling that too. That's how to listen to someone.
Hmm.
We taught in Thames Nadi.
Hmm.
So when you listen deeply, your mind will change, your feelings will change. When your feelings change, be sure that your mind has changed. If you're scared of a
Hmm.
cockroach and next moment if you're not feeling scared of the cockroach, that means your feelings have changed. That means your
Hmm.
mind about the cockroach has changed.
Hmm.
So that's what it is.
Hmm.
We
Guruji, how? Yeah,
so it
yeah.
depends also. You might find the best gurus, but if you're not really listening to them deeply, then you'll not get anything. And this is how I listen to everyone, Osho, Sadhguru, everybody. I listen to them deeply and I can feel what they're feeling. And it's fun because
Hmm.
I learned a lot more than all those 1,000 students who were sitting in front of them because they only heard the words.
So listening is as important as any sadhana that a guru gives.
Correct.
Hmm.
Listening to the guru. That's why I make so much podcasts so that my students can
Hmm.
listen deeply. People were listening and listening, and then they see something that I'm seeing, and they were like, "Wow, what is that?"
Yesterday, you came in my dream. I fell asleep listening to one of your podcasts, which you did. And that's one podcast I always keep going back because each and every time I listen to it, new layers come out. And I saw you in my dream. We were having a conversation exactly like this. And I saw I was wearing this t shirt. So I was finding it today. so, so, you know, a lot of people in India have read this book, Autobiography of a Yogi, and that's when the masses were introduced to Mahaavatar Babaji, who is your guru. And for many years, I was fascinated by this being who, for as you call it, Thames River Wala mind. For the intellectuals, it is almost stupid to think that any being can live on this earth for 2700 years.
Mm.
And I always wanted to speak to somebody who has met or who is initiated into spiritual path by Babaji. And in some ways, I'm speaking to him and I'm connected to him by connecting to you. So how did he come in your life? And more specifically, I would like to probe you a bit on this. You on multiple podcasts have said that this journey has not started in this lifetime. So I would like to probe you into what those previous lives were in terms of your spiritual sadhana and how has it brought you here in this
Mhm.
life.
So that's the thing. I don't talk about it publicly because
Why?
really it'll make people confused. So I really don't talk about it.
Okay.
And my gurus also told me not to speak about
Okay.
these until
Okay.
people are ready to hear it. So when
Okay.
I'm sitting with my advanced students, I don't mind talking about it. But to an unqualified audience, I don't want to talk
Okay.
because then the comments will be like full of shit, and then we have to deal with it.
So in this lifetime, how was that first encounter with Babaji in your life?
I was, I think, 12 years old, and I was suffering from a lot of bullying because of my stammer. I had a very bad stammer. This is so ridiculous that I had to write little notes. I used to carry these 3 into 5 inches cards, and I used to write on
Yeah.
them, give it to people, like what I'm trying to say. So my conversation became really very brief, and my mind became really very sharp because of it. That I had to express myself in very little words, and I could really master language because of that. And that time, the kids used to find it, like the older kids who were like 18 and all, they used to find it ridiculous that I'm handing out cards, and they would take the cards away from me, and then they would say, "Now you talk," and then they would have a good laugh, and then they would just like piss me off so much, and they would scare me too because I was scared at the time that they'll beat me up. I was learning martial arts and all. And that time I started learning martial arts sincerely because of this real problem in my life.
Okay.
And I became very good. If I punch someone, they'll not get up. And during the state tournaments, they told me not to come anymore. They said, if you come, then everybody gets knocked out. And then we had this too much medical issues, so you don't come. So I was like, okay, man, this is really sad. They said, you become a teacher, and when you have students, you send them. That's what they told me. So I'm like, shit. But that same ferocity I couldn't bring up when there were 4 people, 5 people, because it is not possible. Somebody will distract you, somebody will pull your leg, somebody will pull your hair. You don't know what's happening with 4 or 5 people. And in karate, they're teaching you to fight only one guy. So I was like, I need a teacher. I know how to fight. How to get all those 4 guys, and they don't teach you anything about what my guru taught me later. Vyuha. Vyuha is how you fight 10 people also, 100 people also.
Hmm.
So he taught me about all that. But before that, I was angry with Shiva, because these kids had caught me and they put cow dung on my whole face. They put my face in the cow dung, and I had so many cuts because of that. And then there was cow dung all over my face. They took my head and put it in the cow dung. Okay. Then I was like, that's because I I hit one guy, so then the others got me and put me in the cow dung. So I tried fighting everybody, but then they hit me with cricket bat on my arms. Like I
Oh.
wasn't able to lift my arms. I got hit even on my head with the bat. So there's big swelling on the side of the head. And I was sitting there dehydrated and really angry. And I told Shiva, like, I fought just like you fought, but you didn't protect me. And why should I pray to you? I was asking. Why should I pray to you? If you don't show up when I need you, what is the point? When are you going to teach me to fight? When are all these guys going to have their face in the mud for doing this to me? And then I sat down and I was really pissed off. You don't even talk to me like that. I could feel Shiva, right? For me, Shiva was not mythology. I'm feeling it. I'm not talking to him. I'm not even looking at him. I'm looking away.
Oh.
And then from this side, my guru comes. And then he came towards me and I'm looking like this. And then this man with a really shining head, and I'm sitting inside the gutter. They told me to sit inside the gutter because that's where I belong, according to them. And then they are hitting the ball at me, man. One guy is throwing the ball and the other guy is hitting the ball at me. Fut, that hard ball. I'm just avoiding it because it's just one ball I can avoid it. I'm avoiding the ball. They're enjoying that. They're enjoying me avoiding the ball and they're hitting.
Oh.
They're trying to hit me in my stomach. They're trying to hit me. That was going on. Then this guy came and said this to them. Babaji came and said this to them. They all stopped and they went home. They ran. They saw this guy and ran.
So could they also see the shining head, or only
Yeah,
you
everyone
could
could
see?
see. Everyone could see that this is not an ordinary human being that's come here. It inspired fear in them because they knew they were doing wrong. When they saw the light, they wanted to run. So
Mm.
then he touched me. He said, "Get up." As soon as he pulled me up, I had no pain. I was in a lot of pain. I could move my arms again. I'm like something magical. He said, "I'll teach you how to fight. You come to my house." He gave me his address and went off. When I go there, he's a watchman there. I mean, when I was trying to wake him up, and then the owner of the house comes out and he says, "My watchman is sleeping. You come back later."
Reverse.
I'm like, "Who's the watchman? You or him?" I wanted to say, but I didn't have speech that time.
Of course.
So then I came back and I made arrangements so that he'll wake up. I put the leash of a dog through the window and I told him, "I'll pull this leash. You please, before sleeping, put your leg inside." Because he used to drink so much and sleep.
Oh.
And he said, "Put your leg inside and sleep. Will you remember?" He said, "Yeah, I'll remember. It's a great idea." And then I used to go and yank his leg and then he'd say, "Ha ha, I'm coming.
So did he take this particular form to meet you
Yeah.
from like a person who drinks so much, that is like anti yogi, for example?
I
So
didn't even
did he
want
take?
yoga. I wanted someone to teach me how to fight. And I really, I did not expect them to be a teetotaler if they knew how
Ha
to fight.
ha.
Because, sometimes a lot
Ji.
of people who fight that I knew, they used to drink alcohol just to remove the pain because alcohol
Hmm.
removes the pain.
Sure.
So that's why. So I thought maybe he's just had too many fights and he's lying down and he's.
Ji.
So I wanted to learn from a real fighter. That was not a turn
Ji.
off for me, right? I was like, yeah, I really need to learn. So I used to come there and I woke him up and he'd come out. And even though he drank so much, he wouldn't be smelling of alcohol. So I knew there's something with this guy. He touches you and heals you.
Wow.
And, so I'm like, okay,
Right.
whatever, man. I'm going to learn. So he started training me. He trained me like really hard. And my knuckles, even today, are like stones. If
I can see that already. I
yeah,
can feel it by seeing it.
if I hit someone, it's like being hit by a rock, right? So he
Wow.
really trained me up. So once he did that, I was easily able to fight these guys. Somebody came from the back, boom, he'd get one. And it was like, you learn to play a musical instrument. If I give my didgeridoo to someone, they'll make these farting noises. That's it. They cannot get the drone. Okay. So it takes
Mm.
practice. I've sat and blowed it for hours and I got it. So that's how it is.
Wow.
It's like it's like your physical body is an instrument and you have to learn how
Right.
to use it in a fight. So I learned how to use this instrument in a fight. Then I learned so many principles of yoga while learning martial arts that you have to keep your mind blank. You have to really shut up inside. You can't be projecting a future where you have accidents and all that. And then he used
You'll
to
have.
take me, he took me the first day to the railway station, Cantonment railway station in
Acha.
Bangalore. Yeah. And he pointed out to four Muslim guys and he said, "You go and spit on that guy."
Bapre.
I'm like, really? That time Ayodhya stuff was going on also, right? I was pretty scared. I didn't want to do this. He said, "You go do it. I'll be here. Don't worry," he said. I said, "Okay, fine. He'll be there. He'll take care of it." So I went and I spat on that guy's face because I can't say anything. I can't make him angry. Then he's like, "What's wrong with you?" I spat again. "What's wrong with you?" I spat again. Then he started hitting me. Then I uprooted him, because uh, Babaji used to make me pull out plants, pull out strong plants from the root, pull. So I used to keep pulling out plants, and people used to thank me for cleaning all the weeds single-handedly in my neighborhood. So I just pulled his ankle. I'm short, right? I'm short even now, but then I was even more short. So I plucked his ankle out. I plucked both his ankles out. He fell on his head. Then the other guys, another guy took out a knife, and I'm like, whoa! I don't know what to do with the knife. I started running, and I fell. When I fell, he got up. When I got up from falling and running, I ran across the railway tracks. So on the railway tracks, I tripped. I fell down. Before I got up, he had cut me in the calf muscle. That's the only knife scar that I have in my life. So then I'm like, where is this guy? Right? He said he's going to be there, and he's gone. I went back to his room. I was furious, like how you came back. He's like, oh, you didn't get stabbed by the knife. He's like, how do you know about the knife? He said, your leg is bleeding. And I'm like, oh yeah, correct. And then he fixed my leg, and the leg healed in 2 days. And the scar also is almost gone. I have a small, I mean, the scar is so light now, but it's not how deeply it was cut. It was cut a lot more deeply than it is right now. Like the way it's healed. Like some things I've got punched repeatedly in my face. So this lip is permanently like this.
Yeah. I noticed. Yeah.
I, my face shape has changed. My nose is so soft because it's been punched so much. It's like rubber because of the blows that it's got softened up, like maida it is. These kind of things happen. My face shape changed. My nose was not like this round. It was nice, sharp nose. It was now is round because of all these beatings. And
You
my
know,
ear shape also changed.
this reminds me of one small thing. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I saw a reel of Andrew Tate. I don't know if you know him.
Mm.
He's
I've
somebody.
heard about him, yeah.
Yeah, he's somebody who teaches men how to be men in the real sense, and a lot of things that you also talk about how a man should be. So
Hmm.
he said one thing, that if you really want to be spiritual, get punched in the face, and whatever you have to learn about life, you will learn that. Is that something
He's
you
right.
agree
I
with?
would recommend it to everybody.
Hmm.
Get punched in the face 2, 3 times, your ego will come down. Otherwise, people think too much of themselves until someone shows them, look what you are, put, put, put. Then they'll be like, oh, okay, I can be humble now. So a lot of things have happened when I've got arrested, I've gone to jail, all sorts of things have happened. And I had to fix my reputation after all that. My reputation was in the toilet. I had to fix everything. It took
Of course.
years. There are some people who know me from my past who are still scared of me. But I'm not like that anymore. Right? I don't attack people anymore. But Babaji taught me only to fight, and he pushed off. He took money from everybody that I knew, and he said, "This boy will is there? No, he's guaranteed." And he took money and pushed off. And then they came after me after that. And it's a big story, man. There's too much story.
Hmm.
Babaji
Hmm.
has caused a lot of ruckus in my life
Hmm.
so that I can learn out of his
Hmm.
compassion.
Hmm.
Because I was sincere to learn. I didn't want the fake stuff. I didn't want to sit and learn some fake stuff. I wanted to really learn about life. So he taught me. And maybe by 32, no, but when I was 18, he came back again and he told me, you're becoming very arrogant. So everything that you abhor, you're going to become.
He came in the same form of that
No, the
Nepali.
same he came in his full form. He's a dark, tall, 8 foot person. So with long jatas. That's how he is. And he's not like the Jesus that they draw. They
The
draw him like a
image,
white man.
the image that is there online and in that book, that's not how he is. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's not how he has such sharp eyes. If he looks at you, you will melt
Oh, I have goosebumps right now. My head is fizzing right now thinking about this somehow. Oh,
because you're listening deeply,
oh.
deeper. So anyway, then he told me that I've become too full of myself, and whatever that I abhor is going to happen in my life. And he was smiling and he went away. And I'm like, damn. After that, from 18 to 32, I only suffered by doing all the things that I used to judge people for.
Hmm.
So from 18 to 28 is 10 years, and then another 4 years. 14 years, one was. 14 years. 14 years, I had to get married, get divorced, have so many
Oh,
relationships, all sorts of shit was going on in my life. When I was 32, I was actually still married, and I had done everything that I thought was not noble. Everything. And
so all these things that you did in those 14 years were things somehow you were against in many
yes,
ways?
like getting married, for example. I used to laugh at people who get married. Look at these idiots. There was
Hmm.
a lot of things I had to undergo. Luckily, I
Hmm.
didn't judge people for having children, otherwise, I would have had children also.
And do you think that these things that we so badly judge, whatever it can be, it doesn't matter what, the
Yeah.
point is that you judge something, you categorize good and bad. So is
Yeah.
this something that is the karma that is holding you back, the baggages that is
I'll
holding
tell
you
you
back?
what karma is you not behaving like a god. Because God is capable of living in you as Shiva and Shakti. Your left side is Shakti, your right side is Shiva.
Hmm.
You've seen the Ardhanari, right?
Yes.
That's who we are. We can embody the grace and the power of Shiva and Shakti in our body, but we don't. And we abuse this body. We don't treat it as a temple. So when we do such things, when we defile a temple, then we get the karmas for it. There's punishment. So don't defile your temple. This is an immortal body. It knows how to repair itself faster than it damages itself. And it
Wow.
used to have so many capabilities. But we don't have a good relationship with our body. So right from diabetes to everything that I used to judge people for, I got.
Oh.
So think, look at these lazy people. Can't they just exercise? Why would they get diabetes otherwise? And then I got it. Look at this guy. Doesn't he have any willpower? Look at him drinking. And I became a drunkard.
Hmm.
I used to judge Muslims. I became a Muslim. He made me a Muslim.
You became a Muslim? What do you mean?
Babaji said, you go become a Muslim now.
Really?
Yeah, I had to be a Muslim for 1.5 years till I stopped judging Muslims. I had to become a Christian till I stopped judging Christians. I had to become a Buddhist to stop judging Buddhists. And, you know, I was like, what's next, Babaji? Do I have to be a Sikh? He said, no, you don't judge Sikhs, so you're not going to be a Sikh.
No need. So, at what point in your lifetime did you realize, or remember rather, that he is my Guruji who has, I have a relation with him from somewhere else? Was there a point where you remembered,
That,
okay,
those memories came back when I was 32. So
how?
that when he touched me here, all the memories came back. That who I was, why I'm here, what I'm learning. Then I could get the frame. Like, what am I really doing here? And why is this so exciting for me, what I'm doing? Why it's a big goal that's across lifetimes.
What is
All
that
those
goal?
things. To become a Siddha, to house the 8 Mahasiddhis inside my heart.
Why is that important?
They're Devis. They're divine beings of perfection, of success, of being as a human being. They can tell you how to achieve that success as a human being, which is the most important thing for me. I'm in a human body. I want to be a successful human being.
Hmm.
So this is my vehicle. I want to know how to use this vehicle. So this vehicle works best only when the 8 Mahasiddhis are sitting in you. That's what the Siddha path is. So
So for
that's what we work on.
so for people who might be listening, they might be like, oh, इन्होंने तो जन्मों जन्मों की साधना के बाद यहाँ पे पहुंचे हैं, हमारा तो कोई स्कोप नहीं है. So that's the question, like,
Why do people think they have not had janams? Why do
hmm,
you have not had janams? You have had a lot
hmm,
of janams. You're just not aware of it. When you come out of the cervix of the mother, those memories wipe away. And even if you're pulled out by cesarean, the first gulp of air you take, now you're breathing the air of this birth. So then all the memories of the past birth go away. Till then, the fetus remembers everything.
oh, so why do only some yogis or very highly evolved beings remember, and why do most, I would say 99.99% people in the world don't? What is the
What's the fun
mechanics
if you
of it?
remember? What's the
Sorry,
fun? What's the fun if you remember?
what's the fun in not
Yeah.
remembering it?
That's only complex, no? Like, would you play a game if it was really easy? Like, I give you Angry Birds. Second
Ah,
level is also easy. Third level is also easy. Fourth level is
ah,
also easy. Everything is
ah.
easy. You lose your interest in it. Everything
Hmm.
is easy. Easy is a Thames Nadi ideal. We pray to Devi saying, give me the most difficult. Give me the most complicated. So yours is a surprising question for yogis. But for
Yes.
Thames Nadi, it's not surprising.
Yes. Yes. And what does remembering your past lives,
Hmm.
how does that help you in your spiritual growth? Is there a connection? Does it help you in some ways? Those memories?
Unless you made a goal that you would want to continue in this life like me, there is no point of remembering your last life. When you
Hmm.
have made a goal that you want to continue like me, then yes, you have to remember.
Hmm. I want to ask you, uh, what do you think about Sadhguru? Because he came into my life just after Everest, when I was completely lost. Like, okay, मैंने ये climb कर लिया, and now what to do with my life now? Because for 9 years it was this. Then his words, and somehow I got initiated into his Kriya practices, and it's not that I found answers, but the questions somehow, they disappeared in many ways. And I'm not saying that that's the ultimate path, but I'm like, okay, here is something that is worth exploring. And whenever I've sat in front of his presence, I knew that here is something which is beyond my comprehension, but the being within me sees it. So, what do you think about Sadhguru?
I met Sadhguru as a child.
Oh,
He asked me, "What is your name?" I wasn't able to say it because of my stammering. Kept struggling to say my name. Then he said, "You're silent on the outside. You should become silent on the inside also. That will
oh,
be something." I said, "Okay, I'll do this. I'll become silent on the inside." I became quiet inside. I said, "Let it be. If it's outside my control, I can't do anything. Let it be. Be silent." I started being silent inside. That really made a change in my life. So Sadhguru is a real teacher, no doubt. You have to be in his presence and learn. If you're learning his online program from somebody else, it's not going to work.
why is a guru's presence so important? What does it do to you mechanically, as in, you know, how does it
You
actually,
should be under the gaze of the Guru.
like
If
physical
Guru has,
presence?
no, the Guru needs to keep you and know you. You shouldn't be one among the 10,000 nameless disciples who the Guru doesn't know. It doesn't work like that. If he knows you, then of course, it's like having a boat, you know. The Guru is the boat which takes you across the ocean of, what do you call it? Samsara. It helps you to navigate this ocean, which is full of life, but also full of dangers. If you don't have the safety of the boat, then you'll fall into the sea and get eaten. Some shark will eat you up. So the Guru takes you out on the boat and ensures your safety. That's it. Later, you can become a boat yourself, you know, and you know which waters you can go to, and even the biggest gurus knows there are some waters they can't go to without their guru. Babaji also has a guru, Agastya. Agastya also has a guru, Nandi. Nandi also has a guru, Shiva. Shiva also has a guru,
Who?
Trilokinath. And even he'll have a guru, and everybody has a guru.
So, why is Shiva called as the Adi Guru, the first Guru?
He's the one who keeps coming back to teach it, you know. In every Dwapar Yug, he comes. Vishnu comes as Vyas in every Dwapar Yug, and Shiva comes in various forms to teach his version of yoga for that kalpa. A kalpa is 4 yugas. So the version of yoga for this kalpa is Pashupati Yoga. And Shiva came as Lakulesh and he taught it. So that is why he's called Adi Yogi,
Yes.
because he's the one who comes back to teach us. Whereas Vishnu is not coming to teach us, he's only coming to protect us, save us, da 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 da. But the real teacher, the Adi Guru, is the Adi Yogi.
Have you met Shiva?
No one can meet Shiva because Shiva is formless, but I met Shankarnath, like Shiva in human form.
Where was it? Tell us about it.
This was when I was with Baba only. He took me there. There is a mountain called Sumeru, which is now under the ocean.
Oh,
It was part of the lost continent, which connected Australia and India. So now it's under the water, and that's where he lives. Shankarnath lives there. He also sometimes comes to Kailash, and he also goes to Tiruvannamalai. So I happened to go with Babaji. As long as he was touching me, I could go wherever he's going.
underwater also.
He held my hand and went,
Wow.
so
Oh,
that I could go anywhere, because that transformed my body. I was experiencing what they call the Vajra body. Your body becomes just lightning bolts. Everything is lightning bolts. There's no more matter. Then it can go anywhere. Like a ball of lightning, it can go anywhere, and even through space time.
what was your interaction with Shiva in the physical body?
Nothing. I just got his blessings. I said, "Bless me. I
Wow.
want to teach yoga." He said, "Yes, go and teach."
I cannot believe I'm talking to somebody as Siddh as you. I I don't even feel worthy of having this conversation.
No, that's the thing, right? The less worthy we feel, the more we sin. When you feel any less worthy than a god, then you're sinning. You're insulting the temple. Don't do that. There's a temple. You have to start seeing yourself as a potential place where Shiva and Shakti can live. So you have to keep it like that. It is a worthy place. Why it's not worthy? Your heart is big enough to seat the Ashtamaha Siddhis. You have seats in your heart. Your heart is so big that you have seats to hold 8 Siddhi Devis. You can put 8 cushions in your heart. How big is your heart? Everybody's heart. It doesn't matter about your religion, country, gender, or even state of health, state of finances, nothing. You can still seat God inside you. And if you do, then all your problems will go away. Then you
So,
look at bigger problems than the ones that a person can have. How big can a personal problem be? How big can a personal problem be? Tell me. Not that big.
not at all.
So, you're limiting yourself to the dictates of something very small when you have personal problems, like health problems, relationship problem, wealth problem.
Hmm.
People are making the most money solving these three problems, which I don't want to solve. I'm solving it for free. You know, all of the so-called coaches that are mushroomed on the internet are either solving health, wealth, or relationships. They teach
Right.
that in the course, in the coach course, that you should solve one of these niche. You know, and then we should charge people for their suffering. Really, shouldn't healthcare be free? Shouldn't relationship advice be free from elders in the tribe?
Right.
Shouldn't
Right.
shouldn't what is it, wealth, shouldn't
Wealth.
money, the knowledge of wealth be given for free? The knowledge of wealth, you don't have to give wealth for free, but give people the
Sure.
knowledge of wealth. No? That's what I asked Shiva. I said, don't protect me, teach me how to fight.
Hmm.
I want such heroes. If there's such heroes, I teach them for free. I've taught. If you just Google money Guru Pashupati, you'll get so many videos about wealth.
Hmm.
It'll make
Hmm.
so much total sense to you about how why you're not wealthy and how to get wealthy. And there are these things. You just search for health Guru Pashupati, you'll find so many videos
Hmm.
that I've done, like how to strengthen your eyes, how to heal from serious illnesses, how to do this, how to do that. So I put in a lot of knowledge out there for free on health, wealth, and relationships. Relationships, Guru Pashupati, just search. You'll get more than any course in the world. Mind Valley, that valley, this valley, everything put together is not equal to what I put out
Wow.
on these three things. Okay. So people are making money out of this, man. They're making money out of things they shouldn't make money out of.
Correct me if I'm wrong. After I climbed Everest, and not just Everest, so many other mountains, seeing death up close, seeing your
Uh,
peers die a couple of times, I also almost died. And when you come back to the cities and you are looking at, I used to go at the bus stops and sit there and just to observe people. I'm like, itna वो लोग stressed, anxious about so simple things, as simple as survival, which they've amplified so much in their lives.
yeah.
And when I faced death, all these survival aspects started meaning what survival should mean. Not too much, not too less. Survival is survival. That's all.
That's all
And
it is.
and uske baad, health, wealth, and relationships. Everything started, happening seamlessly. When I started, when I stopped giving so much importance to these things, it just happened. Paisa aane laga, relationships started stabilizing, and health was never an issue, touch wood so far. People amplify these things so much कि पैसा कमाना है, इतना इतना इतना, their whole life goes into this, isn't it?
Yeah, these are small things, man. How
Survival,
much
that's
money do
all.
you need? How much money do you need, man? If I
Hmm.
if I get 2 lakhs a month, I can live like a king in
Hmm.
India even now.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
if I get 10 lakhs a month, then it's really relaxed. I mean,
Hmm.
I will not need money after that.
Hmm.
Our company makes close to 1 crore a month. I mean, we just
Hmm.
started. We started in November these
Hmm.
classes, and I don't feel any lack of money after that. So it's like it's not that hard to set up, is what I'm saying. And why, if you sat and prioritized it, don't you think your brain is capable of figuring it out? Of course, it is.
Right.
Anybody's brain is. But the problem is that the self-image. This is
Hmm.
the problem. Like when you
Hmm.
said, "I don't feel worthy," it's the same thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a self-image. So if you watch how you behave, you'll know what you think about yourself.
Hmm.
From morning to evening, if you watch yourself how you behave, you'll be like, "Wow, this is what I think of myself." And for
Hmm.
most people, that stinks. What they think
Hmm.
about themselves is very low,
Hmm.
and that's
Why
why
do
they're
you
not.
think that is?
Thames nothing. Education.
Hmm.
We have not been connected to the source of knowledge. There was a disconnection, temporary disconnection for
Hmm.
about for about 500 years, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
But for Devi, that's just temporary. It's a blink of an eye. She just did it to
Right.
see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what grows. Let's kill all this. Let's see what grows. Enough of all this. Let's kill it. Let's see what grows. She does that. So don't be too attached to whatever you build, because the building is the joy, not
Hmm.
the final product.
Hmm.
The pleasure is in making it. That
Hmm.
no one can take away from you. But what you made can be taken away. That's why Krishna said, Karma neva adhikaraste. Enjoy the building, but don't get attached to what you built. It will go.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's why
I
it's
want I want to ask you one question, which the youth of this country and this world seems to be very fascinated with.
mm,
It's Mount Kailash.
mm,
And as a mountaineer myself, I've never been there,
mm,
but it's something that fascinates me as a mountaineer also. And then my guru speaks about Kailash. He speaks things about Kailash which the intellectuals say he's stupid, kuch bhi bol raha hai, ye wo. Like, he says something like in Mansarovar, I think at 2:30 or 2:20 every night, there are beings from other planets which come there at a lightning speed. And Kailash is also called as the abode of Lord Shiva. So
It's one of the abodes of Lord
one
Shiva.
of the abodes. So,
Hmm.
how do you look at Mount Kailash, and
Mount
why is it so
Kailash
important?
is where Shiva invited Parvati to come and live with him, and it is in the form of a Shri Chakra, and she agreed to live there. So, if you could take off all the snow, you would see that Mount Kailash is in the form of a Shri Chakra, which is the abode of Devi. Shri Chakra is the palace of Devi, is what they say, right? So that's what it is. That is why we don't touch it with our foot. We don't climb it because of respect. And anyway, those who've tried to climb it, and most of them have died. And the only last successful one was Milarepa.
Yes,
Milarepa climbed up, came down, and when they asked him, "What did you see on top?" he said, "Don't go up there," and he didn't say anything else.
he didn't say why.
He didn't say anything else. He said, "Don't go up there." That's all.
There
Okay, so
are
Mount Kailash is a very mystical place. You can't just go out there without an invitation. If you have a reason to meet Shiva, then you can go. If you have a reason to meet Devi, then you can go. Otherwise, no. So Shiva and Devi live there in human form, but not like us humans. It's a different form. They have four arms.
all these stories that we have heard. For example, that if you know uh, get close to Mount Kailash,
Mm.
you age faster. Things like these. Do you
Mm.
think they are true in your experience, or
Depends on the person, because the winds there are very, very high, and you can get electrons stripped of you at a very high pace. There is a very electromagnetic wind over there also, which takes electrons off your body. So if you don't know how to survive that, you can't go there. It does affect your health. So those who go to Mansarovar, if they don't know how to protect themselves, then they come back a little damaged because
really
no guru. Everybody is without guru here. Everyone,
damaged?
everyone running to Mansarovar without guru. Yeah, the electromagnetic winds there can strip electrons off you. There's a lot of electromagnetic energy there, which is unbelievable.
So it
Why do
can
you think I
damage
wear
you.
all these? Why do you think I wear all these? These are all electromagnetic protections that I wear. EMF doesn't affect me like it affects other people. 5G and Wi-Fi and all that. Otherwise, I'll grow old, man. You should see people my age.
I have. I mean, that's why. So these things that you are wearing, is that the reason you are not touched by these
Yeah, these
forces,
these are
or
all blessed. These are all blessed ones. Everything that I wear is blessed. This is
okay?
given to me. This is given to me by Mahaavatar Babaji himself. This was given to me by
Oh,
him when he came in South India. We call him Ayya here. So when he came as Ayya, it's a different form. He has a lightning form. So this was given to me by him. So fantastic. This is something he used to wear in his own, and
wow.
he did jap 108 jap, and then he gave it to me.
It's a consecrated.
These are all consecrated. Everything I'm wearing is consecrated. Even this, even this, even this. So these are carrying living energies that combat all of the. Tiraskarni
No.
Devi. She's in this. She protects your sadhana. She doesn't allow anybody to come near and wreck your sadhana.
And this Rudraksh that you're wearing.
This one, this was given to me by Babaji in the mountains only. He gave me this. So wear this. I put silver on it later so that I can wear it. But I was carrying it in my bag till then. He's given me a lot of Rudraks. He's given me also some shivlings, which are very
If,
precious. Nobody knows how to use it, even if they get it.
of course. So you are saying that if you don't have, or if you're not initiated by a guru, you should not be visiting Mansarovar and Kailash?
No,
Oh,
these are not places that you go like
wow.
it is not Char Dham Yatra, man. You can go to Char Dham, no problem. But Kailash Mansarovar is a place with a lot of electromagnetic energies. If you should go under the guidance of a guru. Sadguru used to take people there.
Yes, yes.
Like that, you should go with a guru, not just by yourself.
And what is the, in the scriptures and in the lores, the mythology of the Indian culture, the
Mm.
mountains and the yogis have always been so connected.
Mm.
Why do all these highly accomplished beings live in the mountains and not elsewhere?
Because our practice produces a lot of heat.
Mm,
So it is best to go and practice in the mountain. I just came back from the mountains. I couldn't do those practices here. So I went to Vashisht and I did the practices and I came back. So once in a while, like 14, 15 days, if I want to do intense practice, I go into the snow and I practice and come back. I sit like this only in the snow, like no shirt, no nothing. Even right now, it's cold. Mysoreans are all wearing sweaters.
Acha.
It's just 22 degrees, man, but they're dressed up like Eskimos, wearing some big jacket.
There are a couple of videos which went viral in the last year or two,
Oh.
where a yogi just with a
Ah,
loincloth is
loincloth
sitting.
dancing in the snow saying Har Har Mahadev. There are lots of them. They don't feel the cold because of the intensity of their practice. Tapas, that's why it's called tapas. It
Mm,
produces heat.
mm,
Tapa means heat.
mm.
That's why the mountains. So a lot of yogis go to the sea also. They go under the sea and practice. Some of them go under the ground because of the heat being too much. From when they practice outside, then the rains will stop in that place. If I start practicing here in Mysore, it will stop raining and everything will start to dry up because it's too much heat.
What kind of sadhana do you do?
Whatever the guru gives you, man. So it's basically the development of an energy called Kundalini inside
Mhm,
you.
mhm.
And that is a very mysterious energy that lives in. It is Shakti herself separated from Shiva. And she is overcome by a longing to be back with Shiva. So that's the thing. That Kundalini, when you go and unite it with Shiva, there's a whole lot of heat released. Even when she awakens, there's a whole lot of fire and heat that happens in your body. It's like electricity, heat, everything. Like so much energy that starts getting released. She stays in the tailbone, there's the coccyx. The coccyx looks like Nandi. Do you know that? It looks like Nandi.
Really?
It's got horns and ears, and then it's like that. So that's where she lives. She lives inside that Nandi, and that is called the Kund. So
Mm.
Kundalini is the one who lives in the Kund. So it is like a lake inside which it lives. And now, right now, there's a Nadi which goes up. It's called Saraswati Nadi or Sushumna Nadi. The outside of the Nadi is called Saraswati. The inside is called Arundhati. So you you need to have, like Sadhguru's teaching, no? Shakti Chalana.
Yes. Yes.
Chalana is one of the basic things.
Yes.
You need to practice Shakti Chalana to widen the Nadi. When the
Mm.
Nadi is widened, then you have to control the prana is controlled, not the prana, what? The mind, chitta. The
Mhm.
mind is controlled by samira and vasana. Vasana is memories and frame, like basically who are you, where am I, and all that is decided by what data you have stored inside. Those are called vasana.
Yes.
No, that is the worthiness of people. They have to remove all the vasanas which make them unworthy and have only yoga vasana. So they have to change their vasana, be yoga vasana. Then they have to control the prana with mitahara. And one more thing, it's what you eat also controls your prana, and what you think also controls your prana. Every time you have a thought, it moves prana in your body. Any thought. You think of the ocean, then you notice what's happening in your body. The prana is moving differently. You can feel a different movement of energy in your body. You think of the mountain, there's a different energy. You think of your job, different energy. Family, different energy. And even in the family specific people, different energy inside your body. Yeah, you can feel that. Anybody can feel that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing is that if you want to make dosas, you have to make one dosa at a time. Because the tawa is so big, you can spread it and that's it. If you want to make it, okay, if you have a large tawa, there's a limit to how many dosas you can make. As one is cooking, if you pour one more on top, the one on top won't cook. And before that cooks, if you pour another one, it'll just be a mess which never cooks.
Wow.
That's what people do with their mind. They go and take so many opposite ideas that nothing is cooking. So it puts off the fires in the body. The Mula Agni, Jatara Agni, Chida Agni. There are so many Agnis in the body which help you to cook your thoughts. Your thoughts are food for your mind. So if you go on putting uncontrolled thought, it's like going on pouring batter and hoping to make a dosa. You'll only make a mess.
What do you mean unwanted thoughts?
All
Uh,
data has to be cooked before it becomes knowledge. Otherwise, it's just data, right? Any scientist will tell you this. Any artificial intelligence scientist will tell you this. That
sure.
just data is garbage. There's no use. But when the data is analyzed and it becomes knowledge, then you can use it. It's just like the batter that we pour for dosa, okay? The batter is uneatable. You can't eat it. But when you
No.
put it on the tawa and the heat of the tawa makes it delicious food. So the similar way we have fires to cook. If you keep snuffing out our fires by putting too much batter, what happens?
So this.
You become mandagni. Mandagni people become stupid.
So these thoughts. any thought when they come in you, what is the right way to, or how to redirect that fire
There is a
to?
concept called Gata Antara. That means space between events.
Hmm.
So our thoughts are usually about some events that have happened in the past or are happening in the future or which are happening now. So when we think about these events, we should have a space between the events, a spaciousness between the events.
Hmm.
Shouldn't be thinking one thought after the other, top, 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 top.
Hmm.
Be some space, a thoughtless space between thoughts.
Hmm.
Gatantara, when you maintain the Gatantara between thoughts, then there is a big clarity about sequence of things. Time sits properly for you. Otherwise, time will be flying.
Yes.
It's easy to overwhelm someone, right? Let's
Yes.
say I'm fully all right, and you told me to go and get vegetables. I'm going to the shop to get vegetables, and you say, "Hey, can you also pay this bill?" Maybe you can handle that. You'll say, "Okay." And then you say, "Can you also pick up the child from school?" And then you say, "One more thing. Can you also do this? Can you also do this? Can you also do this? Can you also?" And while you're going, can you do this? The person is going to get overwhelmed because there is no gatantara. All these gatas are all coming together in his face. So
And
that's how
sabzi
most
lana
people are.
bhi, and sabzi bhi
Nothing
layegi
gets
nahi.
cooked. No, nothing gets cooked. None of those thoughts get cooked.
So for somebody who is not into any sadhana, for example, how can they achieve the distance between two events?
Because events are stored in space. It's literally distance. If I ask you, like, think about your last birthday, then you'll look like this, you'll think like this, it'll be somewhere in your back or
Hmm.
somewhere off where you can't see it. It's not a part
Hmm.
of. That's the event stored there. If you think about the upcoming birthday, then you look somewhere there and say, yeah, that's probably what I'll do. And you'll be far away from you. Can you see the distance already between your past birthday and this birthday? You're not looking in the same place. So we're
Yes.
organizing things by distance. That is called Gatantara. We should maintain the Gatantara. We shouldn't like merge events. We shouldn't
Hmm.
merge people also. We say you're just like your father. That means you don't have a Gatantara and you're not showing respect to you or your father when you say things like that. Everybody is unique, everybody is different. Don't clump them all together. Have the space, there's infinite space for you to place people. Have a difference between people, have a boundary between things. Then you will cook each one with your fires. Your fires will go out and cook everything.
I have two questions about Guru,
Hmm.
because people watching this might think, oh, all this is possible, when a guru comes in your life. So, first question, a very simple, a very ignorant question, if you want to say that. How do you find a guru?
You go to a Shiva temple on a Monday, and then you take some of that vibhuti and you put it on your forehead fully, and then you tell Shiva, please send me a guru. I am ready to do whatever the guru says. And he'll send you a guru. You
Hmm.
know, they put cow dung on my face, right? Vibhuti is
Yes.
made from cow dung. So that's the day I got my guru. It's a foolproof technique. It has worked for thousands of years for people who really want a guru. You'll also find out whether you really want a guru. You will not be able to find a Shiva temple with vibhuti. When you go there won't be vibhuti. If you're not ready, Shiva will not give you that vibhuti. So if you got it, you got it. The funniest part is people coming to me and telling me, how can I find a guru? They're asking me, like, you've
Hmm.
already found a guru. What do you want?
Hmm. Another question about guru that I have, which a friend of mine asked me to ask you,
Hmm.
that if you are already initiated into Kriya Yoga by a guru, is it okay to
I don't know,
follow?
man. If he's not on your WhatsApp and you're not talking to him every day, he's not your guru. No. If you cannot reach him on WhatsApp, he's not your guru.
So, getting initiated into Kriya Yoga does not make him your guru?
No, it makes him a customer. He's
Hmm.
not the student of that guru, he's a customer of the guru.
Hmm.
If you're a student of the guru, you should have access to him, otherwise, he's not your guru. The way to scale your organization, if you are a guru, is to make more gurus, not to make more minions who will teach in your name. They should teach under their own name. A Gurukula, every guru has a guru. Every guru who opened a Gurukulam has a guru. Drona opened Gurukulam, his guru was Parshuram.
Hmm.
Parshuram also had a guru, his father, Jamadagni. Jamadagni also had a guru, Brahma. Brahma also had a guru, Devi herself.
So, the practices that I am doing, or for example, people who are initiated by Sadguru into Shambhavi
Hmm.
or Shunya,
Hmm.
so do these practices mean anything if he is not directly in touch with you, or he is not
I
your
heard
guru?
Sadhguru talking about this and he said, I am with everybody. I don't know how to do that, so I will not comment upon it.
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
personally believe, this is my personal
Hmm.
belief.
Okay.
I don't want to put down Sadhguru or say something wrong against him. That's not what I think. I really respect
Hmm.
him And I'm quite grateful to him for what he said to me when I was a child. So if he's saying that something works, and if Sadhguru is your guru, then maybe it works. But you should always check it by your results.
Hmm.
What result are you getting?
Hmm.
How tivra of a student are you?
Hmm.
Sadhguru has made lot of videos. Do you
Hmm.
watch those videos? Do you watch his lips? Do you see what he's seeing? Do you
Hmm.
feel what he's feeling? Or are you
Hmm.
just listening like a
Hmm.
parrot listens without understanding the words?
Hmm.
Guru shopping is something to go on doing. People go on guru shopping.
Hmm.
But then who's going to clear these doubts for you, if not for a guru? If you don't have contact with your guru, who will clear the doubt? Are you that advanced that you like, I'm very advanced, I can sit and ask my guru anything. He doesn't have to be with me now. And he doesn't have WhatsApp. But are you that level of student that you can have such a guru? Sadguru may be there with you, but are you able to sense it? Most people can't sense
Hmm. Hmm. There have been moments, not during sadhana, but when I was in the mountains and in the moments of extreme dangers, I could hear his voice that I'm standing right behind you. This is not your end. Not words, but just a feeling like this. And no matter how involved I am with my sadhana, I'm not able to feel him during the sadhana.
because
But
there's
in
no pratyahara during the sadhana. While climbing mountains, there's pratyahara.
what do you mean?
Pratyahara means focusing of the senses. All your 15 senses are focused on one thing, survival. We have three sets of senses. What senses outside?
The five.
Jnanendriya. That is called
Right.
Sthula Jnanendriya. Sthula Jnanendriya. Which sense outside. What senses inside is called Sukshma Jnanendriya. You can hear your heartbeat. You can feel the movement of air in your body. You can feel so many things inside, right? Inner sensations. The sensations are called, the ones that sense the sensations are called Sukshma. The one that senses the events outside, they're called Sthula. And then there is Tanmatra on top of that. Tanmatra is the ones that help you to sense God, divine phenomena, telepathy, telekinesis, all that kind of stuff. They're all done from the Tanmatra. But you know why? Because the five elements are our children. The Jiva gives rise to the five elements. There is only one universe, your universe. Everybody is inside it. Every person is a universe by themselves. Because of Devi's grace, we are able to now see each other. It's a glorious thing to see another human being. And it's a humbling thing. You don't have to feel humble in the presence of a guru. You have to feel presence in the you have to feel humble in the presence of every human being. Because you're also that great, they're also great. It's a perception, no? And you have to see deeply into everyone. Everyone and everything is present everywhere. There are so many versions of you. How many versions of you exist, Parth? As many versions of people who have seen you, heard you, read about you, that many versions of you
Wow.
exist.
Wow. Yes.
They all have their own story inside the universe of the other person who now perceives you. When I perceive you, I have your story in my universe.
Hmm.
When you perceive me, you have my story in your universe. So this is something we are doing. We are constantly flowing into each other, and we are all beautiful. We should understand that we are beautiful. We should not waste time in feeling our ugliness because it really doesn't exist. It's an illusion.
Hmm. I have a personal question right now talking to you. People might or might not be able to relate to this, but I have this chance of asking you, and that this is a question that's been in my mind. Now you've seen me, and I know you've seen beyond what you see. Can climbing mountains be my sadhana? Is climbing mountains my sadhana in some ways?
What is there more? We've already climbed Everest.
Not Everest, climbing. Climbing.
Climbing, yes. Climbing can be a sadhana for you to sharpen your mind, for you to do all the eight limbs of yoga. All the eight kriyas of yoga can be done in the mountain just by climbing. From pranayama to pratyahara to dhyana, dharana, everything can be there. So it's one of those things like martial arts, which
Hmm.
can become a spiritual practice.
I want to ask you a question about initiations.
Hmm.
When a guru initiates a shishya into some practice, and I have gone through it, and especially in the initiation of Shunya meditation, the experiences which I've had, I mean, it's stupid to share it because nobody will have ever the same experiences. But there was something beyond the body and mind which came into my experience. So, what is initiation? What does a guru do to a shishya on the energy level to give that kriya?
It's your fondness and blessing for the student. So when I initiate someone, I'm fond of them. Otherwise, I will not initiate them. It's that blessings that's enough that will give them the access to the power that I want them to have. So many kinds of diksha. One can be for mantras. And when you give a mantra diksha, you make the student repeat it with you a few times so that both your voices merge. And then it's a voice initiation. There are some called Shaktipat where the Guru will just touch you, and that is an initiation. Like Ramakrishna did that for Vivekananda. He just touched him on the forehead, and he had all these energies. And then he was able to grow Ramakrishna mission, translate all the Upanishads. So many things he was able to do. In his short life, he lived only 32 years, but he put everything into place and left. So like that. So those are called Shaktipat. And then there are initiations which are done just by looking at the student, and those are called Drishti Diksha. So there are many such Dikshas where basically it's a transfer of power because the student has earned it and is now ready for it. So you put a drop of water into their bowl. The student has become a bowl. So now you can put
Wow.
some water into it. No more leaks, no more cracks. Everything is like perfectly holding. Then you can put the Shakti into it. That's really what it means. So usually, like when I do my 64-day challenge, it's not a Diksha. It is a
Hmm.
Diksha on the 64th day because then they have earned it. But the first 64 days, they're just preparing themselves. So there's only Upadesha. Upadesha becomes Diksha when the student applies the Upadesha and becomes strong enough to take the Diksha. Otherwise, they can't take the Diksha. They'll have all sorts of problems. This Kundalini syndrome. If you
Yeah.
suddenly awaken the Kundalini in someone, the Kundalini is awakened by the Guru's key. By the Guru's touch, it's awakened, not before that. So you can't really irresponsibly awaken Kundalini in everyone just because you can. They have Kundalini syndrome. They'll go mad. A lot of irresponsible gurus have done that.
Yes.
They've achieved
Yes.
this and then they've initiated someone, they start the practice and they have Kundalini syndrome. That's why I don't teach Kundalini yoga to people till they prove themselves worthy,
Hmm.
and there's no
Hmm.
website for it.
Hmm.
If I'm worthy, I'll teach you.
Hmm. Do you remember? Of course, you remember. What was your experience when in this lifetime your guru initiated you, or were you initiated in this lifetime, or
Yes. I became the Parampara Adhikari, which means I have the authority to teach anything from my lineage, and I have the authority to modify the lessons
oh,
as and when required for the students. So yeah, and also I have an access to a library of knowledge of the Siddhas, not physical books,
libraries? Yes, yes, yes.
not a physical library. It's an online library.
On cloud. How do
On
you access these? How?
just grace, Guru's grace. It's not something that there's any technique for. It's just something opened out to you by the Guru. Just by the Guru's love, it opens out. When the Guru loves you and feels, yeah, this guy is worth it. He's really done well. He's done hard work. That those feelings of grace that comes from the Guru's heart, the fondness for you putting in the work and showing yourself, showing up every day, serving the Guru. Because of that, you get grace, and that's when you understand something.
I'm thinking something. I don't know if I should say it. It might sound absolutely stupid to people, but since some time I'm looking at you, and if I keep looking at you, your words, I don't hear them, but I'm seeing you, and I'm कुछ हो रहा है मुझे अभी. I
You're
what is
just being
that?
present. You're just being present. That's it. It'll happen to anyone who's present. It is the lineage, starting from Shankarnath till me. It's the authority from the lineage.
My heartbeat is at least 120 beats per minute right now, just sitting and just looking. And there is, I don't know how to explain this, but I know you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Uh, let's talk about one, a little parallel from this, which you also speak about a lot, which is masculinity.
Hmm.
And somehow, in the last 6 months, I was introduced to this very controversial guy who I mentioned to you, Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
whose views were like, demonized by most people who don't understand what he's saying, because he has a very brash way of saying things. So from him, it was the first time, strangely, that somebody told me how to be a man, what are the masculine traits, and when I look at you, when I see you, I see a man in its full glory, a man who, just by being in your presence, you can be you can feel safe, you can feel taken care of. I can sense that vibe from you. Even if I'm a man, I can feel safe in your presence. So nowadays you don't see men are not men. So what do you think has went wrong in this generation, and how should a man be like,
Well,
and why is it important?
a man is a very dangerous because he has physical power.
Hmm.
more than a woman. And if he doesn't learn how to control and contain and use that power to serve others, he becomes a demon. He becomes somebody who causes so much havoc and so much damage in the world. And so, because of that, to prevent that, there is an agenda to emasculate men, make,
Hmm.
make men into powerless beings because that power is feared. So that's why they realize that if they can, it's like an ox, they take a bull and they castrate it, then it becomes an ox. It's still a male, it's strong enough to pull the plow, but it's
That
not
power.
strong enough to rebel and to be
Right.
independent on its own. So they've perfected a system to break down men, and that's called Thames Nadi education. It breaks
And
down women.
feminism.
This education system that we have was
Hmm.
designed based on prisons, on the discipline in prisons, how they could teach prisoners things. In the same
Hmm.
way, they've been teaching children things, making them prisoners.
Hmm.
You have to go, you have to give attendance, you have to be there. You're not trusted. You're coming here to learn, and you will come here to learn. Everybody's worried about your attendance.
Hmm.
Like we would worry about if a prisoner goes missing, we'll get worried. No, like that, they're worried if a child does not come today. So that's why we need to control, and then we put ideas in men. We give them a lot of pornography,
Hmm.
and and that becomes their introduction to women, and they don't really understand this power that they're feeling inside, the Kundalini Shakti, which is uh, craving a woman sexually. They're not told them that this is a divine power. They demonize it and they say hide it in your pants. Just don't
Yes.
don't ever talk about it. Be apologetic about it. A man is having erections, he's asked to be apologetic about it. Nobody's celebrating it like they celebrate a woman has a period, she's treated like a queen for 3 months
Right.
because she made an egg. We make a sperm, it's nothing.
Wow.
So there's a lot of such things deliberately designed into this education but despite all that, you can't suppress the masculine. People are masculine to some extent, despite all that, right?
Only
So,
some people, that's the problem. Like, as you said, even I've gone through this exact education system of Thames Nadi. And now that I've risen a little above it, I'm seeing the agenda behind it and what they're trying to do to us. And now I'm trying to unlearn and regrow out of that shit that they put us through,
you will
right?
become a non-questioning tax-paying citizen who keeps the state machinery running. Yeah.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. That's what the imperialism is. I mean, I'm not saying that India is an imperialistic empire. It's not like that. But we're still reeling under that, what do you call it? Hangover, colonial hangover.
Yes. It's not gone yet.
It's not gone yet.
And even in the education, Ajkal, they are still not being taught how a man should be and how a woman should be. Because now, if I see, most women are more masculine than most men.
Correct.
Very unfortunately.
No, what we're not teaching children is how to use their senses and make conclusions for themselves. That's what we should teach. Then you can
Mm-hmm.
be sure that children will make good conclusions. And I have really good opinion of kids.
Hmm.
Good conclusions when you give them the right opportunities. They called me in Pune in a slum. There was a school, and they were impossible to teach the boys, and they would come to school with knives and threaten the teachers only. So then they called me in at that time. I said, "Okay, come. I'm in Pune. I'll come." So I went there. Within 1 week, everybody sorted out. After I went there,
Hmm.
I went into the class. I said, "Hey, listen to me," and they said they didn't listen. I broke the teacher's desk with one punch. I said, "Now you listen to me?" And they said, "Yes."
Oh.
They said, "How can we do that?" And I said, "You have to first train with me." I trained them in martial arts for 1 week. Everyone started to behave properly after that. So they laugh at those teachers because they're not physically powerful like them.
Right.
But
Of
then they
course.
saw me, they said, "One punch from this guy, he broke the desk. My face will open out." And then they're like, "We will listen to you now." So they just need that alpha monkey to come there.
Hmm.
If your class is full of monkeys, it's because you're not an alpha monkey.
Hmm.
So it's very important. It looks like you're ruling with an iron fist, but that's not my intention there.
Hmm.
Now you're going to use your own brain and make your own conclusions. Do you want to be powerful like me? Or do you want to be a weakling like you who can't even earn money? Look at you guys so poor. And all of them became entrepreneurs, man. All the bad guys, the
Hmm.
six people that were causing havoc, they have their photographs in the principal's office and they're showing me. These are the guys. These are like
Wow.
showing me criminal. They got a file for them, showing me background,
Wow.
father's name, everything. You know, Those guys are now entrepreneurs. And I was barely there for 10, 15 days. And the NGO that called me, they started getting insecure. The kids are respecting me and not them. I said, you didn't earn it, man. Could you break a bench? I paid for
Wow.
the bench, of course.
One more.
When I went in only, I told the principal that I will break a bench and I'll pay for it. Please don't get upset. She's like, huh? What did I hear? Did I hear the sentence right?
Wow. Wow.
So you need to
Uh,
have those abilities. If you want to win the
hmm.
respect of young boys, in another school, I said, come on, you guys are shouting too much. Show me how much of men you are. Let's do some push-ups. So I did 108 push-ups. I said, how many I do? Everybody's quitting at 25, 30, 35. I said, now you listen to me? They said, yes, we'll listen to you. You need to show that kind of physical
Yes.
leadership,
Yes.
young men, so that they
Hmm.
can understand, wow, there's something to aspire to. A leader is really powerful.
Hmm.
You need to feel like that. I also want to be a leader.
Hmm.
Leadership is very instinctive for men.
Hmm. So to be a full-fledged man, every young boy should do something which is physically
See,
hard.
women look up to men for protection.
Right.
And women do need protection, because they're not
Hmm.
functioning at the full energy throughout the month. This
Hmm.
is the
Hmm.
beauty of a woman, and we should support her because
Hmm.
at her ovulation phase, she's performing at next level. So when women are in their ovulation phase, then they're very, 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 very powerful, physically very powerful. Their energy levels through the roof. I mean, if they're in good health. If they're not
Hmm.
in good health,
Hmm.
they won't be okay. But my guru said that women have 64 times more the energy of men when they're in their ovulation, but when they're in the period, the energy is zero. So they go through this whole cycle in a month.
Sure.
And so there are phases in the cycle where they'll need support from men, and they look for that. They look for that
Hmm.
constancy. Men can have the constancy. We are up in the morning, we're down in the evening, yes, but we're up again next morning. So it's like a square wave, no? Dug, 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 dug. It's very predictable. But the woman's like on big sine wave, her energy. So then we have to support women in that. It's
And
obvious.
and my parallel question to this is about women, because this Western idea of feminism
Mm,
that has started from the US but has been spreading now, that is a big thing in Europe, and now it's even coming to India. And
mm,
what that modern definition of feminism is, that you should be able to do what a man does, which is you are as strong as a man, you can earn as much as a man, you can, if you're not doing things what a man is doing in this world, you are not successful. That's been the definition of
mm,
feminists.
mm.
So what do you think are the consequences of women becoming masculine because of this movement of feminism?
Well, even the so-called masculine independent women, etc., are still having the same swings in energy that women have. They're
Hmm.
not, they can't beat nature. So when
Hmm.
they try to do that, then they become shabby men. They don't become a man. They become a slightly, they become a man who's less than a man.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah,
happens? You
yeah.
can't be a good man because you're a woman.
Right,
If you're trying to be a man, you'll be a poor man. Yeah,
right.
you'll not be like, yeah.
A bird who is attempting to be a fish.
Yeah, it just doesn't work like that, no? A
No,
bird tries to be a fish, it'll be a bad fish.
bad fish. That's all.
Yeah, you'll just be a poor example of a man. That's what you'll be. So that's
Hmm.
not what you can do. That's not your strength. So
Hmm.
women need to be told what their strength is. And that's what I do. I have
Hmm.
programs for women. I have 2 programs for women
Yes.
so that they can find out how powerful they are.
Hmm.
Because I've made the girls who are very powerful.
Hmm.
They don't feel like men.
Hmm.
And we all work together. I have five women on my team.
Hmm.
And they're doing great. So,
Absolutely. Couple of last points I want to touch upon. I can have a conversation with you throughout the day and months and years. We can go on and on and on. But I will ask you a couple of questions, and then hopefully after that we are able to do this face to face. That's but for the first time in so many podcasts that I've recorded, for the first time I felt like I'm. It's almost like face to face. I didn't feel that we are on a Zoom call. So this question that I have is something that you have also spoken about in multiple podcasts,
mm,
but death is something that I have closely faced and come out on the life side. I have not crossed it yet, but being so close, I'll share a very small story. I won't take a lot of time. When I was coming down from the summit of Everest,
mm,
2 hours down from the summit,
huh,
and I saw a person die in front of my eyes, and he was a person who has been in our team since 2 months. You've gotten to know each other, and the brotherhood that you share, while climbing is something that even you can't share it even with your school friends. It's you go through such crazy things together, so that bond is something else. He had a 8-month-old daughter back home in the UK, and he died in front of me, and somehow keeping myself razor focused on my steps so that I don't make a mistake and die, because at that altitude your brain is not functioning properly anyways. So after 30 minutes of this happening, something started happening to me, health wise, energy levels going down unnaturally fast. And
Mm,
there came a point I had to sit down, and my legs became like a jelly, not having enough strength to even stand up on my legs. I don't think most people will ever be able to even imagine what it means to not be able to stand up,
mm,
right? And at that altitude, if you can't walk, you are dead. There is no rescue that can happen.
mm,
So in that moment, I realized, okay, the way my health is going down, maybe I have an hour maximum.
mm,
So I accepted that, okay, this is the rock where I'm resting my back, and this is where I will die. I will shed this body. And in this acceptance, in this moment, all the things which were so important to me for 24 years all vanished, including summiting Everest. It was a dream for 9 years. That
mm,
meant nothing to me. It
mm,
meant nothing. I'm like, what did I spend my life doing? In the face of death, all that filtered out. All that I could think of in my immature way is just give me 30 seconds with my parents and my brother. And what I could have said to them in 30 seconds, I did not say to them in 24 years. Just that I love you and I'm thankful for you. I see it. I see your efforts. Thank you. That's all. And I had missed that chance.
yeah.
I survived and I came back down from there. And now, wherever I go a little bit off in my life, I go back to that moment that, okay, you are not supposed to be alive and you have gotten a bonus life. So, what are you crying about? What are you fussing about?
It's a
Okay,
gift.
yeah, it's a bonus life.
Yeah.
So, I keep thinking about death. The question that I want to ask you, how does yoga look at death, or specifically how do you look at death? What happens when you die? Because I've not died yet in my experience.
You have died many times. You don't remember.
Right. So what
So
happens?
when Babaji touched me, I got memories of all my past life. And after that, I was not worried about death. Death seems to be some big taboo, for
Hmm.
Kings Nadi. They don't discuss it at all. So that's why we don't have any information about it. But I've opened a channel called Understanding Death, just so that
Yes.
people
Yes.
have some knowledge about it. And it's going very well. It's got some 30,000 subscribers and all.
Yes.
So that's the channel which I would recommend anybody to watch if you want detailed knowledge about death. But it's a it's a sadhana. Death is a sadhana. So we learn how to die, get across the river, and get back. There's a river called Vaitharni. These are the tears that flew out from Mahadev when he saw the body of Sati. He picked her up in his arms and he cried. And that river which was flowing was so hot, it started killing life everywhere. And then Shani Dev tried to contain it with a mountain, like a volcanic mountain. He tried to hold it inside, but that broke. And then it flew all the way to Yamlok. So that's what happened. And now there is Yamlok, which is the world of the dead. And it's a moat. It's moated by this river called Vaitharni. So when people die, they find themselves on that side. And it's a literal river. It's a black river, And it's a hot, black kind of river. And the water is not welcoming water. It's full of, like, that you set foot in that, you're no more. The water is like that. So you find yourself on the other side. Now, for you need to cross this river to come back. So you'll find when you die, there are a lot of birds which fly you back to the living, and these are called Kal Garud. They're a combination of Shiva, Indra, and Garud, and these are and people become Kal Garuds when they become siddhas over a period of practice. They turn into Kal Garuds themselves, so they're able to get people across from the river into their new birth, not into their old body. Some Kalguruds, if they see someone dying, they can go in and pluck them back also, if they feel that it's not a right time for them to die. So there is something called timely death and untimely death, Kal Mrityu and Akal Mrityu. In Kal Mrityu, a person goes peacefully. In Akal Mrityu, they struggle a lot because they haven't done the work that they are supposed to do here. So then they struggle a lot. They haven't done the growth. They haven't cooked themselves enough. They haven't got knowledge. Because knowledge is the only thing that you can take. So they haven't got the knowledge that they came for, then we can push them back in the body. And yeah, so that's what happened.
Even if the body is broken, like in an
Hmm.
accident or something,
You
even
can
then they can come
recover.
alive.
This body needs sunlight, water, and soil. That's all. It will grow back. Doesn't need anything more than that. But what doesn't grow back is the resistance from the mind. Ego, my guru defined it as something where we oppose ourselves. That's called ego. Ego is when you oppose yourself, he said. You want to do something, but some part of you says, no, I don't, this is not good, this is a problem. When that happens, he said, know that you have ego. You're opposing yourself. What you wanted to create, you're coming in its own way. That's called ego. So people are sick today because of ego. They have opposed too much what they wanted to do. They have too many regrets of not doing things that they wanted to do. So they're losing their life force. They're falling apart. And soon they'll die. When they die, they'll be sitting there across the river. I go to them and ask them, what's up now? What do you want to do, right? One
You
guy is
go
like,
to
I want to
them.
be a, yeah. So one guy is like, I want to be a cat. Then he become a cat in my house only. He was under my car. Meow, meow, meow. So I picked him up, I took care of him and all that. And then he was living a royal cat life. He was adopted by my student and he was taking care of him. And he will live really royal life. And this guy is looking after him like a father, saying, hey, see, cat to learn to climb the tree today. He learned this today, he learned that today. I said, great, because I know that this cat is getting bored. So then I asked the cat, I picked the kitten up, I looked at him, I said, have you had enough? And I could feel the soul say to me, yes. And I
Oh,
knew that he's going to die in the next 2, 3 days, I thought. And he died. He ran into a car and died. Buried him. I did the rituals required. And I met him again on the river. I'm like, what do you want to be now? He's like, Guruji, please make me a student. I want to be born as a student. I said, okay, come. So now he's taken birth again in India only as a human being. But I said, no, being born in my house, you come to me after you're a little older. Where do you think I find my students? Most of them are people that I brought across the river 20 years ago, or maybe 30 years ago, or I don't know. I've been
when
doing
you
this, I've been doing these rituals since I was 8 years old. Devi would come to me when I wasn't able to sleep when I was 8 years old. Just I couldn't sleep at all. And Devi would come to me and say, come with me, come. And I'm like, can I come with you? I'm just 8 years old. Anything can happen. And then I said, I have
oh,
to do this. Then I said, what about my parents? She said, they'll sleep, you come. So they were sleeping. I never knew. I never told them. I used to get out of the house, go at around 3 in the morning. She would take me to the smashan, and there she would start dancing. And all the Aghoris would be like, Devi's come. And then they're like, you come here. And they used to call me Batuk. Even Babaji called me Batuk only. So they're like, Batuk Bhairav has brought Devi. And then they used to do my puja and they used to do Devi's puja. And I used to sit there and enjoy with the Aghoris. Then they'll tell me, you go back now. Then I used to go back to my place. And that's where I learned how to get across into the realms of the dead. From that day, I've been helping people out. And I knew that I'm going to be a teacher even when I was 8 years old, 10 years old. I knew. Many people would ask me then only that I want to be a student. Then they all took birth in the next few years, and they're all my students now.
so when you look at somebody, a human being, can you look at them and see what journey they've been through even before they were into this body? Can you see that?
I can. But I don't always do that. I don't need to
No.
do that.
Okay. Right.
It takes a lot of energy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I don't need to do
Hmm.
that. I just
Right.
trust Devi. I'm like, send me who you want to send me. I'm not mega controlling anything here. But I have standards. Like if
Hmm.
somebody's, even if they had contacted me in a previous birth, if they're showing up here with arrogance, they'll get slaps. They have to come back again properly with due respect. That's why
So
I don't
if
meet anyone. No, I'm not like Sadhguru. Like I don't have satsangs and so many people come and I don't do that.
hmm.
People are like, we want to meet you. We want to meet you. And I'm like, what you'll do meeting me? What are you going to do? Nothing. You're doing a podcast, you'll reach 100 people. I'm okay with that. But coming here to my house without anything profitable for me, why you're coming here? I'll bring fruits. I'm like, I don't need fruits.
If a guru has decided that this being should be born in this womb to become my student or a student in this lifetime, do you think the circumstances of life always allows that life path to happen, or sometimes?
Yeah, it'll happen. Because the guru will protect you.
Hmm.
Babaji took
And
care of me, man. I've gone through a lot of shit. And when I was really going through a lot of physical torture, that's when he came. He took care of me, he protected me. He taught me to protect myself. He didn't protect me. When he said, I'll be there, don't worry, go fight, he had vanished. He was not there only. When I turn around, there's no Babaji, like nobody's there.
And the sadhana that a person does in a
Hmm.
lifetime,
Hmm.
and because of that, the growth that happens,
Hmm.
does that get carried forward in the next round, or you have to start
Why
from
next round? If you
scratch?
meet a real guru, there's no dying. No more dying business. Gurus don't die, like real gurus don't die. Some of them do. They get a better idea for a better birth and then they leave their body willingly. They don't
Hmm.
die.
Hmm.
Sadhguru says that his wife, she took
Hmm.
uh, samadhi because she could envision a better life
Hmm.
or whatever. But it's not, I don't know what it is, whether she wanted to merge with God or whether she wanted to live a better
Hmm.
life. But
Hmm.
whatever be the reasons,
Hmm.
such people leave their body. That's different. Leaving your body is not dying.
Hmm.
It's called samadhi, Like they
Hmm.
call it samadhi. Like the person went into
Hmm.
the consciousness is still there.
Hmm.
So people like Shankaracharya who left their body, their consciousness is still accessible.
Hmm.
So never
My.
Shankaracharya is not a real guru because he died. I'm saying the goal of moksha for him, it was a very short-term thing. So he wanted to go back. He's an amsha of Lord Shiva himself. Amshas come and then they vanish sometimes, like Shankaracharya. And there have been many. I've met a lot of people who are amshas of devas. Like I have a Tamil Siddha Guru, and he's an amsha of a deva. You can clearly see it. Magical things happen around it. So there are people who are an amsh. They come here. The gods don't abandon us. They keep coming in human form.
Wow. It's very hard to talk right now because of the knowledge that is being dropped here. One question which I want to ask you, and my fiance, who is a French,
Mm.
I also never ever wanted to get married, never ever wanted to go in the materialistic side of life. Now I have a business which keeps me occupied. Never ever wanted to do these things, and I'm seeing I'm exactly going into that thing full throttle, full throttle. And I know that these are just games which I have to play, so I better play them well. So my fiance heard about Sadhguru's wife and the concept of leaving the body at will, and the Western world looks looks down upon this in a very negative way. From what I have learned talking to a few people from those part of the world, they are like,
Mm.
it's a suicide. Why did she leave when she has a young daughter? What is she escaping? This
The
and
West
that.
is irrigated by Thames Nadi. The entire West.
So she will be watching this, and a lot of other mountaineer friends of mine who are from the West will be watching this. So talk to them directly and explain to them why this is the ultimate attainment for a human being.
It's
What
all
is
about
Mahasamadhi?
functionality. It's all about functionality. Do you want to limit yourself to the dictates of what has been taught to you by your education? Or do you want to investigate for yourself and find out if there's more to life?
Hmm.
You know, people have given you a box and you lived only in that box. That's the Western education. So when you see something outside of the box, you get threatened. Don't do that. You're a human being too. You can also learn. This is human knowledge. This is Sanatan Dharma. This is eternal Dharma. It's for everyone. So we don't judge. I have Muslim students, I have Christian students, I have Sikh students, I have so many different religions, Jain students, Buddhist students, and they're all learning. They're learning Sanatan Dharma. So there's nothing wrong if you come and open your brain and learn a new way if you want to. Or you can continue to sit and abhor us. But if you do that, then you'll have to go through the same thing that you abhorred at some point. Because only then will you understand it. Because you have now judged a temple of God. When I say that, another human being, every human being is a temple of God. Just because you didn't have that experience that person had doesn't mean that you have all the experiences in the world. It's nothing short of arrogance. Science is very arrogant because it says this is the only thing that will work for everybody, anywhere, everywhere in the world, and it fails on so many places. Science breaks down. I used to be a scientist. I saw it breaking down and breaking down. I said, I need a system I can rely on.
Hmm.
I was a quantum physicist, and then I'm seeing all the developments happen in front of me, even before the internet. All the Nobel Prizes that have happened for quantum physics, I used to follow up on their work because I had access. Because my father was a scientist at the Indian Institute of Science, and when we had this state-of-the-art library, which at that time would have all the latest journals, and I used to sit and study that even as a child. And at first, I was very fascinated by the language of mathematics that we can use to describe other dimensions. Then I found out that I have been visiting these dimensions without mathematics. So that's about it. And then my last lessons were ring theory. I was studying ring theory when I was 16 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then I said, forget it. I'm just going to cleanse my mind of everything. And I forgot everything. I don't even remember things like trigonometry now. I've forgotten everything.
Do you think the modern science is going in the right direction to be able to explore the deepest secrets of the universe and life?
I mean, they're going in the right direction, but they're going blind, because
Hmm.
they have not recognized the beingness of the universe. They're not recognizing the consciousness of the universe. They've only recognized the energy of the universe. So they're talking in terms of energy and energy field. When I talk about Devi, they want to make it an energy field. If I talk about Shiva, they want to make it an energy field. It's not, there's no personhood attached to this, no beingness attached to this. So then obviously they're missing out on a whole experience. What if I treated you as an energy field man and I did experiments on you rather than talk to you?
Hmm.
Missing that core aspect, and that's why it's failing. It's taking a
Do you
nosedive.
do you
They're
ever
converting
see?
themselves also into just electrical devices like the phone. They're converting the human body also into an electrical device like a phone. Human body is not a device. It has consciousness. So that consciousness has a lot of say on how the energy flows inside it. So there's more to it.
Do you ever see modern science and the inner science ever coming together and working together?
Not till they drop their arrogance of not recognizing beinghood. When they start recognizing beinghood, then good. I mean, I just throw some science at people because I'm a former scientist. In my talks, I just tell them some few words, but really, it's not that valuable. Science doesn't cause change, but
Hmm.
yoga causes real change in the person. Science doesn't cause any healing at all. They're just replacing parts with parts, just experimenting
Right.
with blind monkeys.
Right.
They're not able to see the whole picture.
I see a
How
lot
how
of
will it come? How will it come together? I don't think so.
but I see a lot of sadhaks also with a lot of ego.
Huh.
Like the scientific people have a lot of ego. I
Hmm.
see a lot of spiritual people also with a lot of ego that I do this, I do that. They go on preaching about there, and you can see you don't have to listen to them. If you have the eyes, you can see arrogance in their eyes when they talk about it. So, how to get rid or how to shield yourself from spiritual ego, because that is a very subtle ego which you don't even see if you don't have the attention.
Being subtle about acting like a dick. You're just being a dick. Realize it and stop it. Why are you being such a unpleasant person? Why can't you respect other human beings? It's
Very
not
simple.
something to protect yourself from. It's not even a thing like
Hmm.
just respect others.
Hmm.
Then your ego will be low only. It'll be zero. You're seeing everyone else as a vehicle of the divine, the temple of the divine. That's what they are. Everyone deserves respect, no matter who they are. Be present to them, hear them out. If it's
Hmm.
making no sense, reject them.
Hmm.
That also do it compassionately if you can. If they're violent, then you can kick them out equally violently. If somebody is coming to me and talking nonsense, but they're being polite, I will talk to them politely.
Sure.
Come to me and talk. If they start their sentence with A, then they're going to get two slaps from me there only.
One last question before we end this podcast. I've already taken up a lot of your time. Uh, I have been fascinated is a very childish word, but let's say fascinated with Babaji ever since I read about him in the book because of it something which was beyond the knowledge of Thames Nadi. Something came and I could feel him in some ways, but not consciously. If somebody wants to take his darshan or
Hmm.
experience him, how?
You have to know that Babaji is made up of light. So sit in the sunlight outside. He'll not come inside your house. You go sit in the sunlight outside, and then you connect using this mantra, Icha Kriya Jnana, Baba Nama. And you keep repeating this mantra and say, please, Babaji, give me some darshan. And you keep repeating its vibration in a rhythmic manner. And you have to be out in the sun, like not in the hot sun, but in the shade outside somewhere. And when you close your eyes, there'll be a lot of light of the sun playing, and you'll be able to see. Then slowly open your eyes, you'll see his form there. He'll come. No big deal. Most people don't know what to say to Babaji after he comes.
What
That's
to
why they
say?
struggle. What to say? Ask him for blessings and tell him, give me knowledge, give me energy, and give me purpose. He'll give you.
uh Sorry, I blacked out a little bit. uh to end this conversation on a I keep forgetting that I have to take an interview and host, and I, I get lost sometimes. I'm looking at you and your physical form is disappearing. I don't see any separation between that tree and you. It's never happened before in my life. The wall behind you, the grills behind you. It's crazy. I
That's my aura because it's big.
oh, and I could see it.
Hmm.
Do you meet people often who see it?
Yeah, some of them, yeah. The clairvoyants.
The
The clairvoyants can see it.
what does that mean? I
The
don't know
people
that
who
word.
can, whose tanmatras are open. I told you there are three
Yeah,
sets.
yeah. Okay, to end to end this conversation on a lighter note, and for people to know the simple human aspects of you, I have a what Karan Johar calls the rapid fire round. I have to come up with a better name for this. I can't copy that guy. You can use one word or one sentence, and
Sure.
if you feel, what is your biggest weakness?
Oh, it used to be compassion, but I don't have it anymore.
But I see so much compassion in your eyes right now, Guruji. So much compassion in your
Well,
eyes.
that is kindness. It's not compassion. I used to think that I have to do everything for everyone so that they get okay.
Hmm.
And right now, I don't think I have any weakness. That was my weakness.
Hmm. What?
Word, it's not karuna, no? There's another word for it. Krupa, savior
Rupa.
complex. Savior complex.
Savior
Yeah.
complex.
Savior complex is called compassion.
Wow. What is your biggest strength?
Clarity.
And I can see that in your eyes. Ha. If, okay, now for you, this is not a if question. If you want to travel in time and go back and live in a certain era,
No.
what era would that be in the past?
2024. I'm
Sorry?
happy where I am.
2024.
2024. There's no glory in the past.
But if you want to, you can.
I could, but what's the point?
Wow. All these are fascinations by people who cannot do it, but once you have the power to do it, you don't want
Why
to
do you
do
want
it.
to eat last night's vegetable? Yeah, eat today's fresh now.
Wow. In your eyes, what has been your biggest achievement so far?
I would say that this is, I don't know how to put it, but winning the grace of Devi. Yeah, you can put it like that.
Which is your favorite movie?
Like movies.
You don't like movies?
I mean, it's okay, it's entertaining and all that, but
Right.
I just think that the whole experience of a movie is taking you away from reality. When
Hmm.
reality itself is such a big movie builds false expectation of how fast things will happen. You go and watch Milka Singh and you think in 1.5 hours you'll be the best runner in the world. It
Hmm.
distorts time and makes you feel, takes only the positives and shows it and doesn't show you like how hard something really is. Very few movies do that. There are some who can do that and that. I like some of the Japanese movies, martial,
Oh.
like what is it called? Bloodworm, blood something. I don't know. There was this movie where this guy became immortal
Mm-hmm.
because he has these worms inside him, blood worms, and
Oh.
they will
Okay.
repair his body. Even if it chop it off, it will repair his body. I like movies where people become immortal, like Wolverine.
That was gonna be my next question. I mean, it's a wrong sort of question to ask a yogi with superpowers such as yourself. But if you had a super, if you wanted a superpower like the superpowers that we see in movies, very simple, what would that be?
Oh, superpowers we see in movies are nothing, man.
Which is that one song or one artist that you really like, or you don't like songs also?
No, no, I have a band, and it's my favorite band in the world. It's called Pinaka.
Okay,
Yeah, we make the best music.
it's your band.
Yeah, yeah, it's my band. I'm the lead singer.
Really? Do we have any videos of this
I,
online to
I
see?
share it with my students. I make this music for my students so that they can
Okay,
reach high consciousness.
okay,
I'll share it
okay,
with you. There's
okay.
a song I recorded last week called Yoga Nidra. It's too good.
Please share it with me.
I'll share it with you.
Do you think that music is a very powerful sadhana
It
for your
is.
spirit?
It is Nada Yoga. Nada Yoga.
Hmm. What is the biggest regret in your life? No.
Nothing, nothing. I don't regret anything. I lived my life by my conscience,
Hmm.
whether others said it's correct or not. So I don't have any regret. No regrets from childhood. I've always done what I wanted to do.
If there
Sometimes
is
face
one.
the consequences for it, and sometimes
Hmm. Hmm.
face the rewards for it. Whatever comes.
Hmm.
Live my life by my choice. So I'm not frustrated that way. No regrets.
If there is one thing you could change about this world like this, what would that one thing be?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. There's nothing to change here. It's a beautiful place. I love
Hmm.
it. I feel I'm already in heaven.
And
I
we
just
can
wake up
see.
in the morning, I smell this tree. That's my favorite tree, which grows right outside my house. It talks to me. When you talk to me, oh, start talking. Can you see?
Yes, I can see that. I can feel it.
It's moving. Can you see it moving?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is a living magical tree, man. And so is every tree if you have a relationship with it. A tree is a house for many elemental spirits. Elemental spirits are all born out of the Jiva. Jivas gave rights to the five elements. So these are, we store the five elements in our body in yoga. And they act like extra limbs for us.
Since the last 2 years, that 2 hours that we've been talking, my attention has been grabbed by that tree a lot, and now
Hmm.
we are speaking about that tree.
Hmm. Yeah, it has a lot of beautiful spirits living on it. Beautiful Gandharva type spirits are there on.
Okay, I have many questions, but we will keep it for next time. For the next time, I want to dive deep into a specific topic, Aghora, because that's a topic which has a lot of good and bad perception in people's minds.
Hmm.
And I've met Aghoris, I've stayed with Aghoris, and a whole new way of looking at their way of sadhana has opened up to me. And I would like to do a podcast specifically on that
Hmm.
next time. But for now, before we end this conversation, Guruji, is there something you would like to tell before we end? Before that, one advice for me.
You need to do some sadhana of Garuda because you have his blessings. I don't know why, but you have his blessings.
What do you mean?
You need to connect more with the deity called Garuda, who is here, the eagle, and you'll see there's a lot of eagle energy in you. You have the capacity to lift people and fly.
Where do I learn this sadhana?
Do my 64-day challenge when you have the time. But the sadhana itself, read up more about Garuda. Some things will click for you. You'll understand. There is a whole Puran called Garuda Puran
Garud
as well.
Puran.
So there's a lot of information about him there. The Puran is about Vishnu, but you'll also learn about him. He's an Amsha of Shiva, Garuda. It's one of the manifestations of Shiva who acts as a
My
way for the gods.
my life right now is being pulled into business and marriage, and my attention towards mountains or attention towards my spiritual sadhana somehow is being reduced right now, and I know there is no excuse for this, but do you think
But it will be reduced, because that's how it is. It comes, it fades, it grows. Don't worry about it. It's how it is.
this conflict has created a lot of
You see,
mental.
I'm going to release something. I called someone today to shoot also. It's called Ekatattva. Ekatattva is unity of all three sets of senses. All three sets of senses work as one, which is what you need to learn. I'm teaching it for free. You don't even have to join my course because I think this is the only way that someone can be true to themselves. Otherwise, you become true to a whole lot of other ideas which you don't care about.
Hmm.
And when you do that, your life becomes miserable for some time. And that misery is also good because in that misery, you learn that, yeah, shit, I have to start caring about what I want. When you get swept up in other people's agendas, you'll be screwed for some years. Then you'll get back.
Hmm.
But whatever it is, live your life with Ekatattva and you can have
Hmm.
integrity. When we
Hmm.
lose our integrity, then we lose our spiritual path.
Hmm.
Because one set of senses saying something, another set saying something, another set saying something else. Inside you feel something, outside reality you have to see is different, and then the Tanmatra reality is different, and all sorts of imagination comes. So you don't have clarity. You're not seeing with one eye. The best thing about a Garuda is its sharp eyes. It can see. So that's why I said I think Garuda sadhana.
Hmm.
You can build your drishti. Anyway, the
Yeah.
Ekatattva
Yeah.
Deva is also Garuda.
Hmm.
When we pray to Garuda for giving us Ekatattva.
Hmm.
Nobody's even heard of.
Hmm.
They read it in the Yoga Sutra. They didn't understand. Then they left it.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll teach it. Don't worry. Follow my
Okay.
channel.
Yes. And before we end this, something if you want to say to the viewers who stuck till the 2 hours.
Well, thanks for watching for 2 hours. And I hope this changed something in your life, opened your perspectives, expanded your vision.
Hmm.
And if you want to learn more, if you'd be kind enough, leave a link to my website.
Hmm.
It's chamundi.gurukulam.in. Yeah, that's where you can find out more. And if you want to learn more, you can learn more.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, and please bless me. I'm begging for it. And I'm not blessing for superpowers. Just give me the strength that whatever comes in my life, I'm able to do it.
No better than that. You can have purpose, knowledge, and energy. Om Namah Shiva. Om Namah Shiva.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.